Good day, my viewer. Welcome once again to my channel. And the last video we did, or the last class we had, we learned how to subtract in base 2, that's in binary. But today we are looking at how to subtract in any base. It's just the same logic. It's just the same logic. The normal subtraction we do every day is being done in base 10. But most of us don't know such a subtraction is taking place in base 10. So today I'm going to give us about 3 or 4 examples in different bases. Are you getting it? It's the same concept. Let me start with the first example, not to waste time. Example 1. I'm having this question 4, 3, 2 minus 1, 2, 4, both in base 5. We have both numbers in base 5. Before I move on, if the number is in base 5, we can't have the number 5 in it. We can't have 5, we can't have 6. The highest digit we can have in base 5 is 4. So which means the numbers there are correct. So let's move on. I want to take away 1, 2, 4 from 4, 3, 2. Let me start with this. Take away 4 from 2. That's quite impossible. I'm going to borrow from 3. If I borrow 1 from 3, what is left in 3? That will be 2. So I'm bringing what I borrowed from what? From 3. But because I'm in base 5, what I'm going to add to this 2 will be 5. So that will be 5 plus 2. Are you getting it? Because I'm in base 5. So 5 plus 2 gives us 7. Then 7 minus 4, 3. Let me come again. The number I borrowed is coming here. It has transformed to 5. So 5 plus the 2 I have here initially gives us 7. Then of course 7 minus 4 will give us 3. The second number I have here is just 2. 2 minus 2. 2 minus 2 gives us what? 0. So there's nothing to work there. And the last one, 4 minus 1, that gives us 3. So my answer is 303 in base 5. Let me go to the second example. Example 2. This time around, I'm going to use a number in base 2, though we've done that in our previous video, but I'll still use another example in base 2. Assuming I'm having 1, 0, 1, 0 in base 2 minus 1, 1, 1 also in base 2. Now, to do this subtraction, I cannot take away 1 from 0. So I'm going to come to this one, I'm going to borrow it. I will borrow 1 from this one. I'm left with what? With 0. Because I'm in base 2, the number that is coming here will be what? 2. So add it. 2 plus 0 gives us 2. 2 minus 1 gives us what? 1. It's very simple. Now, I cannot work this also. I will come here to borrow, but I cannot borrow from 0. So which means I have to come to this digit. Borrow from here. What is left here? 0 is left. What I'm going to bring to this place is what? 2, because I'm in base 2. I'm going to bring 2 to this place. But this is the destination I'm coming to. I will borrow from this 2. I'm left with what? With 1. And I'm going to add that 2 to this one. 2 plus 0 gives us 2. 2 minus 1 gives us what? Gives us 1. Of course, I'm left with 1 here before. 1 minus 1, 0. And 0, of course, there's nothing here before. So 0 minus 0. So I can conclude that my answer here is 1, 1, base what? Base 2. We can check if our answers are correct. We can always check by, just like when you're having 8 minus 3. If you have 8 minus 3 and you got your answer to be what? To be 5. How can you check if your answer is correct? You are going to add 5 plus 3 and that should give us what? 8. But that is going to lead us to addition in other base. So let us check the first question we did and the second uh, question to see if it's correct. So some of us might not be familiar with addition in number base, but those of us that know it already, they're going to understand what I'm trying to do when cross-checking the question. Now to check, I want to check example 1. I'm going to add this plus this and see if I'm going to get this as the answer. So let's see. 1, 2, 4 plus 4, no, plus 3, 0, 3. I'm going to add my answer with this to get what I have on top. And don't forget, I'm in base 5. Base 5. So now let's add it. 4 plus 3 gives us 7. But though I'm going to teach us this in a subsequent video. But you cannot have 7 in base 5. I've told you before, the highest number you can have in base 5 is 4. The highest digit you can have in base 6 is what? Is 5. Now, I'm going to divide 7 by 5. That gives us 1 remainder 2. I'm going to write the 2 and carry what? 1. 1 remainder 2. I will write the remainder and carry what I have first. Now, 1 plus 2, 3. I can write 3 in base 5. 3 plus 1 is what? 4. You can see I've gotten what I have on top of this number before. 432 base 5. So which means the answer I have here is what? Is absolutely correct. Let us check the second example that we did. Let's check if 1 that we got is actually correct or not. Example 2, to check the second example. I'm going to add my answer here with this. I'm supposed to get what I have on top here. So let's start. What I have here is 1, 1, 1. Forget about the 0, it's not there initially. Are you getting it? 1, 1, 1. So let me check. I'm going to have 1, 1, and 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1, 1. Again, 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. But because I'm in base 2, I cannot write 2 in base 2. So that means I'm going to have 2 divided by 2. And that will give me 1 remainder what? 0. So I'm going to write this 0 and carry this what? This 1. 1 plus 1, 2 plus 1, 3. Because I'm in base 2 again, I cannot write 3 in base 2. So I will divide that 3 by 2. That will give me 1 remainder 1. I will write this remainder, the 1 at the back, and carry this 1. 1 plus 1 again gives us 2. Don't forget, when you divide 2 by 2, you have 1 remainder 0. And that's the last addition here. That's 1, 0. You can see I'm back to the initial what? Question. So that shows the answer I got here is what? Absolutely correct. Now, I'll give us the last example. Let me use base 8 this time around. We're going to check, and that will be all for today. So we still have other base like base 16, that is hexadecimal. But that one has a special process because we have to make use of alphabets to denote numbers be bigger than 9. So we're going to do that hexadecimal in a separate video from this. So let's have one more example, which will be in base 8. And if you can solve subtraction in base 2, in base 5, in base 8, then any other base also, just use the same concept, the same approach. Now let's have this question now, which is our last example for now. We are having this number 2046 in base 8. minus 1, 4, 7. Let me do it this way. 1, 4, 6, 7 also in base 8. Let's try to solve it. It's just as simple as we have done the first and second example. Now, take away 7 from 6 is quite impossible. So I'm going to borrow from what? From 4. 4 is left with 3. I'm sure we know that. Because I'm in base 8, what I'm going to bring to this place is 8. And I'm going to add it to the 6 I'm having here. 8 plus 6 gives us 14. 14 minus 7 gives us what? 7. I'm left with 3 here. I cannot take away 6 from 3. I will come and borrow from 0, but I have nothing to borrow from 0. I'm coming here. When I borrow from 2, I'm left with what? 1. What I'm bringing here is not 1. Because I'm in base 8, I'm bringing 8 to this place. 8 plus 0, not 80. Like we always do in our regular mathematics. When we bring 1, we call it 10. No. There is a process for that. I will still teach us on base 10. So 8 plus 0. Are you getting it? But this is where I'm coming to. I will borrow from this 8 again. I'm left with what? 7. As you are borrowing the numbers, be mindful of the remainder so you won't make a mistake. So this is where I'm coming to. I'm going to add what I borrowed to this 3. That will be 8 plus what? 3. Are you getting it? This 7 is standing in this column. So 8 plus 3 gives us 11. 11 minus 6 gives us 5. The next one, 7 minus 4, that's very straightforward to do. That gives us 3. And the last one, 1 minus 1, that gives us 0. So which means my final answer here, the answer I've derived here is 3, 5, 7 in base what? In base 8. And before I check if the answer is correct, you have to look at the answer you derived properly. All the digits I have here does not have 8, does not have 9. All the numbers here, each of the digits is smaller than what? Than 8. Now let's move on. If I add this to this, I have to get the answer on top. Are you getting it? Don't forget my answer here is also in base 8. It's very important to indicate the base you are. Now let's check. 1, 4, 6, 7 plus 3, 5, 7. After adding it, I must get 2046 to be sure my answer is correct. That's why mathematics is very good. You can always cross-check your answers to be sure you are right. So if you don't understand the addition I'm doing here to check, you can keep checking our next videos. We're going to work on additions in number base. Now let's go. We are in base 8. In base 8. And don't forget the logic of adding. Now 7 plus 7 is 14. 14 is bigger than base 8 that I am. So I'm going to divide 14 by 8. I'm going to divide 14 by 8. And I'm sure you should know that when I divide 14 by 8, I'm going to have 1, remainder what? 6. So I will write this 6 here and carry this one to this place. Are you getting it? 1 plus 6, that is 7. 7 plus 5, that gives us 12. Again, I cannot have 12 in base 8. So I'm going to divide 12 by what? 8. I'm going to divide 12 by 8. And that gives me 1 remainder what? 1 remainder 4. I will write the remainder, not 1. I will write the remainder, which is 4. And I will carry this what? This 1. As I'm carrying this one, it's not affected by the base, so don't mix it up. It's not affected by the base. Now, let's move on. I'm having 1 plus 4, 7. 1 plus 4, 5 plus 3, that gives us 8. 8 cannot be in base 8. The highest digit we can have in base 8 is what? Is 7. So I'm going to divide this 8 by 8. And that gives us 1 remainder 0. So I'm going to write this 0 and carry this what? 1. And the last addition, 1 plus 1, 2. Of course, 2 is smaller than 8, so we can have our 2 in this place. So checking it and getting 2046, which is here, makes me sure that the answer I got here is what? 100% correct. So in our next video, we'll be learning addition in number base. Addition in base 2, in base 3, base 8, base 5, any base we can have. And don't forget, we've promised to teach us hexadecimals, base 16. And not only hexadecimals, base 12, base 14, anything more than base 9. We're going to learn it in our subsequent video. Don't forget to share our videos, like us, and subscribe to our free channel. Thank you very much.